In November 1942, after the first major victory of the Allies in World War II, Winston Churchill made a now famous speech. "This is not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end, but it is perhaps the end of the beginning," or something like that. I feel that quote kind of sums up this episode because it's very much the beginning of the end. After nearly 300 episodes, speaking with experts like Robert Kiyosaki, Grant Cardone, Hal Elrod, and Brandon Turner, and who you can imagine in the real estate space, plus countless men and women who you may not have heard before but have done their first deal and have quit their jobs, the Apartment Building Investing Podcast is coming to an end. It's coming to an end because it's only going to get better. And that's because starting today, we're changing the name from the Apartment Building Investing Podcast to the Financial Freedom with Real Estate Podcast. It's the same title as my best-selling book on Amazon. Now, why are we renaming the podcast? Because it communicates more accurately our mission, which is to help people become financially free with real estate, but not in the way they might be thinking, which is single-family houses. Now, of course, we do with apartment buildings, but we want to reach the message to people who want to quit their jobs, control their time, and are thinking real estate, which typically is single-family houses. Now, we then, of course, quietly introduce the idea of apartments, and we introduce this idea that you can do it regardless of what your experience is and how much money you have or don't have. Now, there's a variety of different reasons why apartments are superior over single-family homes. And that is, well, one is multifamily performs much better in down markets over the last several decades, much less volatile. Therefore, we can achieve higher, more consistent returns. We can also pay ourselves acquisition fees when we syndicate. I can't do that with houses. You can get non-recourse debt. That's a unique thing about multifamily. And we can control the value of the property by raising the income, which is difficult to do on single-family houses. But most importantly, aside from the attributes of this asset class, if you observe what people have done with real estate is, there's a lot of fanfare of getting started with single family houses. That's what you see on TV and the late night commercials. And people get started with single family housing, they're wholesaling, flipping, landlording, and they realize they can't achieve their goal. So they quietly shift to apartment buildings and quit their jobs within 1 or 2 years. So multifamily has made more people financially free than any other business or strategy in the history of the world. Now, why can I say this with any kind of confidence? Well, that's because I wrote the book on it, okay? I had to interview a bunch of people for that, plus I talked to people on the show, and it's the same thing over and over and over again. It's several things. One is you start with single family and you then shift to multifamily, or better yet, you skip the entire the entire single family thing entirely, and you go right into apartment buildings. And I know this also because we watch people. If we help people or students or anyone do their first deal, that number is well over 100 at this point, and several dozen have already quit their jobs. And those numbers are accelerating. That's really what we're all about, is helping people become financially free. Now, you might recognize some of these people here. Bruce Fraser, for example, one of our earliest students, he's got now 2,000 units. He's almost bigger than we are. Patrick Duffy, the first person who brought us the deal to the deal desk. He's obviously more than financially free. He's got a full-time asset management company. Christine Jefferson joined Mission Bay Capital and is crushing it there. Devin Elder, Texas Management Group. Annie Dickerson, right, with Good Egg. She's crushing on a capital raiser. She's training people. Jeremy Lemire is now, as well as David Camara and Kyle Mitchell, all three of them went through our program actually and became financially free, got bored, and I asked them, hey, how about you help other people? And they're like, that's a great idea. So now they are mentors helping other people do their first deal. Spencer Hilligoss done an amazing amount of money raising, and Ben Risser, who's partners with Matt Faircloth as well. Some of these people, and there's something more interesting about these people who not only do their first deal and quit their job, but what happens is they start realizing that they are in the position to make an impact and a difference with people. So it's like this. Financial freedom is like having an oxygen mask, right? You got your oxygen mask on and you have another one in your right hand. Now, when you have an oxygen mask on yourself and you can breathe and you have one in your right hand, you're gonna do what? You're gonna look around and see who else can you put this mask on. And this is what people do, is they become financially free. They go through this temporary state of confusion because their identity is so wrapped up in what they were doing before their job. And they're home at 2:30 in the afternoon. Their wife's like, or spouse is like, well, what are you doing here? And they're like, I'm not exactly sure. right? They get a little bit of an identity crisis. And so there's this giant vacuum that forms in their brain that was formerly consumed with 50 plus hours of work. And they're like, my gosh, I lost my purpose in life, which is to make a difference, which is to provide for my family. Now that's been taken care of. And like, what am I here to do? What am I really here for? What's next? And so what happens is they realize that they're here for something bigger than just themselves because they already have the oxygen mask on. So they realize that they become what I call difference makers. How can I make a difference? How can I live a life of purpose? And that's what financial freedom is really all about. It empowers you to have a conversation with yourself around that. And so that's what I want to help you do your first deal because I know if I can help you do your first deal, through the law of the first deal, you'll become financially free because that second or third deal will happen basically automatically. And once you're financially free, it sets you up to make a difference. So I know that if I help you become financially free, you're going to affect at least one other person, most likely dozens or hundreds or even thousands of people. In the case where people are launching podcasts, or if they're writing books, or in the case of syndicators, they're actually serving their investors, right? The investors who are otherwise be investing in the stock market, which we now all realize is insane. And so we're collectively in the process of syndicating, educating others, and providing them a superior investment vehicle. So now you know the real reason I do what I do. I do want you to be free, but I want you to be free so you can make a difference together. That's what I really want. Now, we've also helped so many people become financially free that we know what works and what doesn't. And in fact, we recently released a system that we call the Dealmaker Blueprint. You can learn more about it at dealmakercertification.com, actually. And this Dealmaker Blueprint is our process for what you should do from where you're right now to doing your first deal, quitting your job, scaling your portfolio, and becoming a difference maker. And what's really critical in the Dealmaker Blueprint is the first 90 days. Okay, what do you do in the first 90 days you get into this stuff? And this is where this Dealmaker certification that I just accidentally mentioned comes in. The Dealmaker certification walks you through those first 90 days. What should you do in week 1? What should you do in week 2, right? Because there's so many things. Like, what should I do first and second? And it can be overwhelming. So we took the Dealmaker Blueprint training, essentially, and mapped out what you need to do in the first 90 days. And that you can find out more about dealmakercertification.com. It may not be currently open. We're only opening that in limited edition. We did a launch earlier in the year, and we want to make sure those people are successful. But you can download the infographic and get on our wait list as well. Now, from all these people who have done their first deal and quit their job with apartments, from all this, everyone on the podcast and people interviewed on the book, I can conclusively say that apartment investing is the easiest and fastest way to enter the B&I quadrants for the most people than anything else you can do. What's interesting is people can be successful at this regardless of how much or little experience they have, or how much money they have or don't have, whether they're an introvert or an extrovert, if they love numbers or hate numbers, okay? If you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and you're looking for a strategy to become financially independent, there's nothing like apartment buildings, even if you have no experience or your own cash. So that's why we renamed the podcast, to reach more people who are thinking about investing in real estate, but don't realize apartments are an option, even if they don't have the experience or the capital of their own. So if you're listening to this, watching this right now, and you have a buddy who just read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and they're really excited about real estate, all right, have them subscribe to this podcast. Have them read my book, because what I'm trying to do is shortcut the 5 or 10 years that people spend investing in single-family houses and getting them right into apartment buildings. So that's what I want. I want anyone to quit their job with real estate. I want to make a lasting impact with them, and they need to listen to this podcast. And so because we want to reach more people, we're running a contest right now and giving away a copy of our brand new Dealmaker certification course I mentioned earlier. It's valued at $3,000, which is an amazing course, okay? It took us a year to redo this. We launched it earlier. It is amazing because it teaches you everything you need from A to Z, and then the certification process almost gently forces you to take action for 90 days. And then we give you access to our Dealmaker Mastermind for the next year so you can be surrounded and have support. Now, if you want to win a copy of that, here's what you have to do. It's super simple. First, you got to subscribe to the show. Okay, if you don't have it, take your whatever podcast app you have and subscribe to the show. And more importantly, you got to leave us a review. Now, you're going to have to use iTunes for this. You have to either download the app or use some kind of Apple device to do it. It's kind of a pain. All right, but maybe you can borrow one from a buddy and leave us a review on iTunes. And then go to themichaelblanc.com/launch. And there you'll see a page. You can drop your emails in there. And we're going to use that to randomly draw a winner from that. Now, you do have to have a review, okay? So we're going to try to look on iTunes and see if we can find it. If not, we'll contact you and just make sure that you've done that. And you can earn some extra bonus points is if you take a screenshot of your review and share it on social media, okay? So when you do, tag me at @TheMichaelBlanc, and that's my tag on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. It's @TheMichaelBlanc, that's BLANK. All right, so whichever one you use is fine with me. Just take a screenshot, share it on social, and you're going to get extra points. You'll see that you get extra points for doing each of those things. And you're the winner of the contest, and you've posted your share on social media. I'm going to throw in a surprise bonus prize. So if you've done one, you qualify for the course. If you share on social, you're going to qualify for a bonus prize, which is going to be a Zoom call with me. All right, little strategy session. So if you want to go for that, you just have to subscribe, review, and then share your review on social media. All right, that's enough of the shameless bribing here. Appreciate you get the word out, and of course, listening to the show. So I look forward to the next 300 episodes. Catch you next time.